What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install the power pole tilt brackets from Hydrilla Gear. These things come in handy if you ever need to put your power poles down on your back deck in order to get in a standard size garage door or a lower door, or if you're fishing around a bridge and you want to put them on your back deck to get underneath something tight. These things are very easy to install. They're super easy to use. Let me give you a step-by-step video on how to get them installed, and I'll give you a closer look on how they actually work. Our first step is going to be taking the covers off of your power poles. 4 Phillips head screws on each side. 4 on this side, 4 on that side. Once the screws are removed, they just pop right off like that. Now that they're removed, we're going to have access to these 4 bolts. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 on the other side. Okay, so you can see we have the bottom 2 removed, 1 on each side. The top 2 are still intact, but I have them loose enough to where once I get a grip of the pole, I'll be able to remove the nuts with my fingers, and I'm going to get the bracket prepped, and that way we can kind of pop it on real quick, and that way we don't have to worry about the power pole falling or anything like that. Obviously, if you have a second person, the second person can literally just hold the pole, because it's not going to take long to get the tilt brackets installed. So again, if you have a second person, much easier, but you'll see how you can get it done pretty easily yourself as well. So let me give you a look at the bracket before we actually remove the pole, just so you can see how this whole thing kind of works. So it's actually a 2-piece kit. These 2 pins, well, actually 4 pins, 2 on the top, 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. If you push them in together and then push them up into the grooves, you can hopefully kind of see what I'm talking about there. If you do that for the top and the bottom, these 2 pieces are going to separate. This is the piece that we're going to need for right now, the one that actually has the pins on it. So again, if you're doing this yourself, make sure you have this within arm's reach. And what I'm going to do is one side says Hydrilla Gear, the other side doesn't. That does not matter. No matter what way you put this on the boat, it's going to work. So don't worry about orientation. I'm just going to have the Hydrilla Gear facing out so you can see it. Just personal preference, again, doesn't matter. So make sure you have this piece handy. You'll see why as we go ahead and remove the pole off the boat. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to support the pole. And again, I have these top 2 bolts and nuts loose enough to where I can just remove the nut with my fingers, take the washer off the back, and go ahead and remove the hardware. Now the pole is going to be loose. There's nothing else holding it to the boat other than the hydraulic lines, of course, which we don't want to stress. So we'll go ahead and take these off like so, and now the pole is loose. So what you can do is what I did on the port side, I just very gently, you don't want to stress the hydraulic lines too much, just very gently you can rest it on the boat like that. So technically, sorry, I know I'm in the camera there. So technically you don't really have to have this piece within reach. Just make sure the back of your boat is cleared off and you can gently rest it. So you can see the hydraulic lines are not being stressed or anything like that. So the pole can sit there while we go ahead and attach this to our jack plate mount for the poles. Okay, so now all we're gonna do is take the piece that has the pins on it. We're gonna line it up. You can see it has the same cutouts and the same holes as our jack plate mount. So we're simply just going to use the hardware that we just removed. That's the hardware you're going to use to attach this. So just slide the bolt and the crush washer in through the front. Take the thick washer that looks like that on the back, and then reattach the nylon locking nut. And we're just going to put all 4 on loosely. We're not going to tighten anything down just yet until we get all 4 started. All right, now we can go ahead and tighten these down. Again, using the 14mm that we use to remove them from the poles themselves. Okay, now we're going to take the other side of the plate and attach it to the power pole itself. Now they do send new hardware to do that. So you get the bolt, you get these thick washers. You're going to need 2 per bolt. 1 on each side, and then of course the nylon locking nut. So in order to do this, very simple. This is what it looks like. You're going to want the holes that are going to attach to the other plate facing away from the pole, obviously. So we're just going to line it up. Let's get a washer on our bolt first. We're just going to line it up with the holes in the pole, pop it through, take another washer on the back, nylon lock nut, and again, we're not going to tighten these down just yet. Let's get all 4 started. All right, so this is where you should be at. You can see we have our plate, we have our bolt and a washer going through the power pole, through this plate, washer and nut on the back side, all 4 spots. Again, all 4 are not tightened down just yet. Good look at the other side. This is what I meant by when I said I'll have the Hydrilla logo facing out. Doesn't matter, but this is where you should be at right now. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna tighten all 4 of these bolts, but when I say tighten, not all the way. We wanna have just enough wiggle room to where we can adjust the pole and make sure it's straight up and down. You'll see what I mean once we get this attached to the other part. But go ahead and tighten down all 4 of these bolts. Just leave them just loose enough to where you can make, you know, final adjustments before you really go ahead and tighten them down all the way. Make sure you have your pins pushed in. So push those in, slide them up. You can see how those locking pins stayed inside. Same thing down here. So now we can now slide the 2 pieces together and then lock it in place. Again, very carefully, making sure you're not stressing your hydraulic lines. Go ahead and get these spots lined up. And what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and lock the top in place. Okay, so once you have these two pins slid back out, you can see the top is now locked on. The reason we didn't tighten down those 4 bolts all the way is now we can make adjustments to our pole and make sure it's straight up and down. I'm gonna make sure they both match, both line up. And then what we can do is take our 2 wrenches, snug them up a little bit more. We could even then put the pole down on the back of the boat and really get at it good with the ratchet and make sure they're nice and tight. Okay, my OCD is happy. Hopefully it shows up on camera. 2 poles are perfectly aligned. So what I'm gonna do now before we put it down on the back of the boat is, I'm gonna take 2 wrenches, and it's kind of limited room in here, but you can get 2 flat wrenches in there good enough to where I'm gonna snug up a couple just to make sure it doesn't move on me when we do put it down on the boat, to get at it with the ratchet and really tighten them down good. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna lower it. The bottom 2 locks are still undone, which is allowing us to lower this. So we'll go ahead and carefully lower it, make sure everything is okay. We'll let it rest on the back of the boat, and now we have plenty of room to get at these 4 bolts and really lock them down good with the ratchet. Now that all the bolts are nice and tight, we can go ahead and pick the pole back up. These 2 locking pins on the bottom are still pulled in. That is going to allow the pole to go all the way down. Once it's in position, you can reach down and unlock those tabs. You'll hear them snap into place just like so. So now the pole is locked in on all 4 locations and you're good to go. It's just that easy to put the pole back down. Literally just reach down, pull those pins, and you're ready to lower your blade back onto the back of your deck. Reinstall your covers and your install is done. There you have it, guys. It's that easy to get these tilt brackets from Hydrilla Gear installed on your power poles. These things are awesome. I no longer have to worry about, are my poles low enough to get in or out of my garage, or if I'm fishing around or underneath any kind of bridge. You can put your poles down like this if you need to. This is going to come in handy for me going in and out of my garage. It's the biggest reason I installed them on this on the boat. I have smashed my power poles into my garage door on more than one occasion. In fact, I actually literally just had to replace my Russell Marine Products, my anchor light on the top of the power pole, because I broke it off my garage door. So I no longer have to worry about anything like that, when I'm coming in and out of the garage with the boat. So if you have any questions on the install, put them down below. I'll help you out. But as you saw, it's pretty straightforward, and these things are pretty easy to use. Can't get much simpler. So questions, comments, or concerns, let me know what you think, and I'll help you out the best I can. Thanks for watching as always. We'll see you on the next one.